Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Sorry I put out a video in a couple days, just needed a short break. We're back at it, and we're here with another Guilty Gear Strive video, except this one's very different. As of last week, we finished up playing a week with every single character. Last week we started our Seoul Bad Guy week, and it was a lot of fun. But now we're here with the point of the entire series. I am not a Guilty Gear boomer. I was brand new to the series when Strive came out. The most experience I had was I played, I don't even know if this is the way they're supposed to say it, but it was XX Action Core a million years ago, and I only ever played it as Order Soul, beat the storyline, never touched it again. So, I am brand new to the franchise, so I seriously wanted to try every single character and get a feel for all the characters, all their playstyles. And I've played other fighting games, but the only fighting game I've ever really gotten seriously into was Dragon Ball FighterZ, and now I'm trying to get seriously into this one. So I wanted to make my own tier list. Now the tier list that I'm making right now isn't just for how good the character is, but it's also for how easy the character is to pick up and play. It's kind of a tier list for newer players. So if you guys enjoy the tier list, please drop a like, subscribe if you're new. Let's jump in, let's get started. So, we're going to be going in order, straight in order from left to right, and I will be putting the character in what I think their order should be per tier. So, we're going to start off with Seoul. This is no question, absolutely S tier. He is powerful, and even after the pseudo nerfs to buffs that he got, he hits like a truck. He's very easy to combo with. His moves are just so basic. He plays the game so well. It's so easy to convert off of almost anything. I mean, if you guys watch my gameplay, literally the day I picked up and tried him, I was able to do like an 8-hit combo that did almost 50%. Silly easy. And I am not good with Seoul at all. Alright, up next, we've got Kai. Kai is going in A. Kai is not a bad character. He does need a little love. He has really, really good normals, amazing reach. I actually like his projectiles, even though a lot of people think they still need to be buffed. I like the buffs that he got with the recent patch. I know that this might shift around come the patch this weekend, but as of right now, this is what I think. He is very, very easy to pick up and play. He's probably one of the most basic characters in the game. But he also has a DP, so he's one of the only characters with the not a meterless defensive option. So, yeah, I think he's right around mid. Mei is obviously going in front of Kai, but she is also, in my opinion, an A tier. She doesn't have a meterless defensive option. She does also hit like a truck. And though she did get a little bit of nerf to some of her normals, a lot of her normals are still really, really good. And I think her air game is stupid. It feels like she always has control of the air. The only reason I'm putting her in A and not S is she is a little harder to pick up and play. Her combos are a little different than most other characters. So she takes a little bit of time to really get used to. Alright, my boy Axel. I am putting him in B tier. Now, Axel's kind of the reverse of Mei, where he is very easy to pick up and play, but just not as good. While he is the zoner of the, he doesn't really feel like a zoner, like in the traditional sense, like just keep away from me. He controls space, he closes the distance when he wants to, he goes back and forth really easily between getting you off of him and getting in on you. But he's another character that, even though his combos are easy to use, he still takes some getting used to, and his air game is very weak. I hated playing him mostly because of his air normals. It felt like I didn't want to leave the ground because I hated his air normals that much. My boy Chip. I know, surprising. Chip is my main, and I am not putting him in S tier. I love the shit out of Chip. Absolutely adore him. He is my favorite character to play. He's fast. He's got amazing movement. He can literally be all over the fucking screen. I love Alpha Blade. His combos are easy to make. The reason I have him in A tier isn't just because of his health, but that is a big deterrent. Like, you have to really know what you're doing with his movement, because if you get caught twice, you're dead. No ifs, ands, or buts. Any character catches you twice, you're dead. Some characters, one, if you play against a really good player that can make a ridiculous extension. And that's just bad. He does have a Milos reversal, which does help in defensive situations, but that's really about it. But as offensively, he is disgusting. He's right behind Seoul on offense. But difficulty, as far as getting used to him, his playstyle, dealing with certain situations so you don't just explode, that's what kind of drags the character down. He has a kind of middle skill floor with a really, really high skill ceiling. Potemkin. I'm going to put Potemkin in A. He's actually going to go behind Kai. Potemkin is also really easy to pick up and play. His normals are humongous. They cover basically the entire screen. He has a normal for every situation. His command grab does an insane amount of damage. It's just getting used to getting in and actually hitting your opponent with it. He has good anti-air options. Mega Fist is stupid. I don't give a fuck what anybody says. Mega Fist is stupid. Garuda Impact is broken and godlike. The only reason I'm putting him farther behind on A is just getting used to him. His speed is really slow. He doesn't have a double jump, so getting around is sometimes a little rough. But once you get used to him, you will just be throwing your opponent around like a rag doll. This one makes me sad. Faust. Now, Faust is, just because he's in D tier doesn't mean he's bad. Faust was already very mid to low tier before the patch. After the patch, he's still kind of meh. He has a couple of nice things. But the biggest problem I have with Faust is that he is a very high-risk, low-reward character. His normals are meh. His projectiles are random and can hurt him as much as they can hurt their opponent. And even a good Faust player has to work so hard to get serious damage on a combo. And it's just, why play Faust when you could play somebody else who could do the same thing but better? And I hate to say it because I think his gimmick is hilarious and I have fun with him, but it's just so annoyingly difficult. Alright, up next we've got Milia Rage. Don't hate me, Milia players, but you'll understand my thought process now here. I'm going to put her in B. Don't get me wrong. With all her mobility and her ridiculous combos and setups, she's actually an A-tier character. The reason I knock her down to B is because she's actually very complicated to pick up and play, especially for a newer player. I like playing as her, but I found myself fucking up a lot of her setups, and I actually have experience in this game, having played it since every week since release. And it's really easy to mess up her setups, so it takes a lot of getting used to. You actually have to be able to judge the space for her attacks. Like, doing a heavy tandem top, I would always end up launching it behind my opponent if I did it too close, because I had to get used to her spacing. Getting used to swapping between combos, like her close slash, actually letting both hits hit. That was just something it took me, I couldn't wrap my mind around it. She's a great character, but she definitely takes the work to really shine. I do think she does need some buffs, because there's no reason for the bigger characters to have faster normals in her. That shit doesn't make sense to me. Alright, Zato. Oh, this is a tough one. I'm also going to put him in B tier. Again, not because he's bad. I think Zato's one of the best characters in the game, if you put in the time. Eddie and Zato are fucking stupid. Their combos are ridiculously easy to pull off. The problem is getting used to playing around Eddie. You have to be able to predict your opponent's attacks to be able to call the right Eddie attacks. Like, you want to be able to use frog at the right moment, mix in your command grab. Like, his pressure gets disgusting once you actually are able to get his game plan going. He is severely nerfed if he loses Eddie. It kind of sucks just how much it hurts him. I think he needs a. I don't want to say the character needs a buff because the character is stupid when he has Eddie, but he really hurts when he doesn't. And that is just another thing for a new player to have to wrap their mind around, and it can get a little difficult. Like when I played Asato way back when, because I think he was week 4, it took me like 3 days of nonstop playing to really start to do some good stuff with him. Ram. Crazy, right? Ram's going in S. Ram is going in S because the character is not only good, she is good enough to absolutely be an A-tier character, but she jumps to S because she is probably the easiest character on the roster to pick up and play. The only thing she is lacking is a meterless defensive option. If she had that, she might even be better than Seoul. She's got amazing normals. She's got a really simple game plan. Her corner pressure is probably the best in the game. Her supers, she's got one of the fastest supers in the game. Her laser is kind of meh. You almost never use it. But it's literally just grab her, do cool stuff. You don't even have to try to make crazy combos with her. It just happens. So, because she's so easy, so good, and so easy to pick up and play, that's why she's jumping in S tier. Leo. Leo is going right there. Oh no, you're going in front of guy. Come on. You go behind me. Okay. Leo is going in A tier. I'm putting him behind May and Chip because as good as the character he is, I still feel like they're better. And he kind of gets dragged down. His game plan is easy, but it takes a little getting used to. I kind of couldn't wrap my head around using his run at so many random times, so I was struggling and getting snatched up a lot. Once I started to get a feel for, throwing out a quick jab and then doing his run, or just getting up and doing his run before my opponent realized what I'm trying to do, and just mixing up different options to get his back turn stance. And then his back turn stance also in itself took some getting used to because since he's facing the opposite way, it felt like the inputs had to get reversed, so that fucked me up. And then if you just get jabbed out, you lose the back turn stance. Like, I want to practice his back turn stance on a moving opponent, but I just get knocked out. Like, it was frustrating to play. His damage is psychotic, and his combos are really, really easy to do, but getting used to his actual game plan was just a pain in the ass for me, and that's why he's a little bit lower on the A tier. I do think he's a better character than both Kai and Potemkin, and once you can get used to him, his doors open up. But I feel like the counterplay against him is just too high. Arguably put him in front of other characters that have better movement and more options. Oh yeah, he also doesn't have a run. He has that dash, kind of like Giovanna, but worse, because it's like he dashes and then like almost has to recover. It's weird. I'm not a fan. Nago's going in beer. Nago absolutely should be higher on this list because as far as the quality of the character, but the motherfucker's hard to use. He takes a lot of practice to get used to managing and judging his blood gauge because you want to be able to get a feel for it without actually having to always look at it. His combo potential is psychotic, but he doesn't have any defensive options. He's slower, doesn't have a dash or a double jump, but he does have his command dash, but that also has to do with managing his blood gauge. So, great character, just another one that really takes the time. The reason he's at the top of B is because his mashups and his potential is just so high. He does so well against so many characters, and I fought some absolutely disgusting Nagos. Geo. She's going. Yeah, she's going right there. Geo is another really, really good character. She is probably the epitome of new player friendly character. She is fast. Her dash is actually good because she can close the distance super fast and recover extremely fast if she needs to throw an attack or block. Spiral arrow is dumb, She's got amazing, really, really easy combos, and the only thing she's missing is a meterless defensive option. If she had that, she would be an absolutely perfect character. Granted, at super long range, she has problems, but how many characters really can fight at super long range? If her 623 slash was actually a reversal, I think she would be absolutely bonkers. She'd be one of the best characters in the game. Angie. Fuck Angie. I don't want to put him there, but I got to. Alright, so I like Angie. I really do. He's actually a really, really fun character to play. But, and now, though he is here on the list, does not mean he's the worst character in the game. I mean, that's pretty subjective. I've played against some annoying ass Angies. It's just, he again, like Faust, he has to work really, really hard to do things. I feel like a really good Angie player has to know the matchups, has to know what other characters are capable of, what other characters are going to do, because he is definitely the predict and react kind of character. The buffs that he got were cool, but it doesn't change a lot of the core problems with Angie. Like, it gives him a lot more options. He can kind of freeform a little more with his combos and how he throws out certain things. But it's just, that definitely didn't feel like enough. Eno is going right there. Eno is going there because she kind of lacks a little bit of swag. Now, Eno got buffed to her movement, which I thought was a perfect buff for her. She definitely needed to be able to get in and do things more. But her basic game plan is dash in, go for a high-low, and that's it. Like, she doesn't have a whole lot of hard knockdowns. Her damage is meh. And, again, a lot of characters can do what she does, but better. Is she fun? Absolutely. Can you get some wins with her? Oh, yeah. I damn near beat Celestial with her. But it just feels like she's still lacking compared to some of the other characters. She is very easy to pick up and play, and once you get used to the way her dash works and using it for safe jumps, it's fun. But that much effort without a whole lot of payoff, she ends up being very mid as a character. Now we've got our two DLC characters. I'm going to put them both in at once. They go right there. Now, hear me out. Gold Lewis. Hits like a motherfucking truck. Probably the highest damaging character in the game. Or at least very, very comparable to Potemkin. His Behemoth Typhoon and all its guard break potential is just annoying. And he does have an air dash, which a lot of the other big characters don't have. He just doesn't dash very far. His problems come down to, while Behemoth Typhoon is a cool move, those half-circle inputs really suck. They are so hard to get used to. And not to mention trying to come with them. You kind of have to buffer sometimes to actually get the ones you want. Like, you have to press a button while she's still in animation since you can't move. Then you can try to put your input in. It's a lot to get used to. His super, his Gatling gun. His Gatling gun is okay for chip, but still kind of a bad move. His drone is like, it's supposed to be this great Oki tool, and it ends up being so slow, and that just wastes your whole time. He's just not a great character. And while his damage is fantastic, the rest of him is kind of a meh package. And Jacko, I wanted Jacko to be higher, but my problem with Jacko is that she is so hard to play. She's got really, really good normals, but she has no specials outside of her minions. You have to be able to call her minions and use your normals to hit them into your opponent, or use your specials to do the same. But if you don't have any minions out, her specials don't do anything. Another issue I had with her, because again, I'm trying to order the tier list by playability. For new players, it's just hard having to flip your inputs back and forth, because you do a 2-3-6 input to call the minion, then a 2-1-4 input to kick the minion, then a 2-3-6 input to get the minion to attack, not to mention trying to close in on your opponent at the same time. It's a lot. I'm not saying she doesn't have some potential, but she's just another character that's a pain in the ass. And again, there's other characters that do it better. She feels like a worse Zato. In the case of switching your inputs back and forth, Milia is a lot of the same way. It's one of the reasons I had some problems with her, but at least you visually see her swapping sides on the screen. Anyway, guys, that's it for my tier list. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. If you agree with my tiers, again, remember, this isn't just how good the character is, but how easy the character is for a new player to pick up and play. But if you guys want to check me out on social media, those links will be down below. And that is it from me, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with another video. Later. I have a dream, that's all I need. I'll make it happen with some work and belief. Know what I want, so I'll take it on. I've made mistakes, but mistakes make you strong. Let's break it down for a minute. I want the crown, I'm gon' get it. You hear me loud, man, I'm winning. Yeah, Charlie Sheen will be great.